Hi, I'm AltiKate and I'm gonna teach you how to play the computer game StarCraft 2. Before we begin, let me say that this is StarCraft 2 for complete beginners, so I'm going to keep it real simple to start. I'll explain it all from the ground up in plain English. Even if you've never played a computer game in your life, you should be able to follow this video and figure out if this is something you'd enjoy. This first episode will give you a broad overview of what StarCraft is and how it works. Once we've gone over the basics, future videos will explain how to control the game, how to get into the competitive side of things, and how to improve. And once I've taught you everything I know, I'll show you where to go to learn from the masters. StarCraft 2 is the second and latest installment in a series of computer games that play out a science fiction story set hundreds of years into the future in a distant part of our Milky Way galaxy. In StarCraft, the battles you participate in tell the story of a military conflict between the three species that inhabit this part of space. The Terrans, human exiles from Earth who direct their powerful star fleet to colonize new worlds. The Zerg, a hive mind of insect-like monsters that devour and assimilate other species into their relentless swarm. The Protoss, an alien race of mystic warriors with access to marvelous technology and supernatural psychic powers. As a player, you take control of one of these three factions and attempt to parlay your species' unique strengths and weaknesses into victory over enemies controlling Terran, Zerg, or Protoss armies. StarCraft 2 is a real-time strategy game, which is often abbreviated as RTS. The real-time component means that when you're playing this game against a human opponent, there's no pausing to think about your next move. It's like a board game. You both have game pieces that you pick up and move across the board, but the difference is that you both make your moves at the same time. In StarCraft, fast thinking, quick reactions, and precise control are key skills. In a game of StarCraft, you collect limited resources. You then use these resources to build an army, and you direct this army to fight and defeat your opponent. The rules are simple. The only way to win the game is to destroy every building or structure your opponent has built on the game board. In practice though, most games will end with you or your opponent surrendering from an unwinnable position. In StarCraft, you use your mouse and keyboard to select and move the pieces on the game board, which is called a map. There are many different maps to play on, and more are being made all the time. A map is the landscape over which your armies fight, complete with terrain that can help or hinder assault. Each map has two or more starting positions, and the computer randomly decides where each player begins the game. The map is covered with fog of war, hiding the enemy's location and movements in areas where your army lacks a presence. Throughout the game, you explore the map to discover what your opponent is up to, expand your economy by claiming additional bases or expansions, and position your army to defend your bases and destroy your opponents. You control two kinds of game pieces in StarCraft: units and structures. Units are the creatures, vehicles, and robots that make up your army. Most of them are fighters, but some are used to gather resources or information. To add units to your army, you must spend your collected resources, and each unit also takes a certain amount of time to build. Since building a unit ties up the structure that's given the order, your ability to amass a strong army relies not only on the amount of resources you can gather, but also on how many structures you control. Structures are buildings that provide you with the infrastructure you need to create and maintain your army. Most of them are basically factories that produce units, but some are fortifications to help repel attacks, or laboratories where you can purchase upgrades that will make your army stronger in the long run. You begin the game with a single command center and must expand your base by building additional structures over time. You have many options, and the decisions you make here are a key part of what makes StarCraft into a game of strategy. StarCraft is played either head-to-head against a single opponent or in teams of up to 4 players to a side. All over the world there are organized leagues where the best players go head-to-head in competition for fame and prize money. Professional StarCraft players organize in teams with high-profile sponsors, devoting their time to constant practice and improvement. But for most of us, we play for fun and excitement. And no matter what your skill level is, there is always the ladder, an automatic online matchmaking system that pits you against players of roughly equal skill. So why would you play StarCraft? Maybe you're a fan of science fiction and space opera and enjoy playing out epic fights between humans and aliens on fantastic distant worlds. StarCraft has that. Maybe you like strategy games and enjoy the thrill you get from outsmarting your opponent and seizing victory through a brilliant maneuver. StarCraft offers those opportunities. Or maybe you enjoy the competitive environment of pitting your skills and pride against others and the adrenaline pounding through your veins as you snatch victory from the maws of certain defeat. StarCraft can give you that. For me, it's these elements in combination and so much more that makes the game such an amazing pastime. Now you know what StarCraft is. If this sounds fun to you, take a look at my next video where I'll give you a thorough explanation of how to play StarCraft.